Tanaka is the laziest person on the face of the earth and wants nothing in his life to change, so he uses as little energy as possible on a daily basis. However, his prayers go unheard and every day something new happens, against his will, but he is lazy enough to go along with events because opposing them requires even more effort. Join me to see how our protagonist falls asleep in every place he finds, and yet his life is more fun than mine. Kyoji Tanaka is a teenager whose apathy is so profound he can fall asleep anywhere. Even when awake, he seems exhausted. His chronic drowsiness has his best friend, Oda, frequently carrying him around, accustomed to their implicit arrangement. Oda often has to fetch Tanaka from the schoolyard to ensure he attends class, lest he spends his days sleeping to the birdsong. Tanaka remarks that Oda is incredibly caring, perfect marriage material. Tanaka's somnolence is such that he views it as a philosophical approach to life, confusing his classmates as he seems to exert great effort to be as lazy as possible. However, laziness proves more hazardous than imagined, with Tanaka's joints and muscles often numbing from the odd positions he sleeps in at his desk. Deciding to prevent his joints from numbing so often and to strengthen his muscles for more rest time, Tanaka resolves to put effort into gym class. After skipping the warm-up exercises with the group, a badminton match starts. Tanaka is on Oda's team, who, being quite sporty, does nearly all the work, as usual. After observing Oda's skillful play, Tanaka decides to do the same, and to everyone's surprise, he makes a great shot. Yet, that's all the energy he chooses to expend for the day, retreating to a corner of the court to sleep while Oda finishes the game. Afterwards, they sit under a tree to eat, and Tanaka cuts his mouth on a bun, bleeding. He then ponders wanting to be strong but losing even to a bun, perhaps succumbing to laziness without trying further is the wiser choice. On one of his double apathy days, Oda notices Tanaka's apathy has reached a point where he loses his appetite despite clear hunger. Moreover, he's tasked with playing the piano for music class and, despite being skilled, plays in minor keys, turning the song somber. When the teacher tells him it's okay to stop, Tanaka shouts, shocking the class. Concerned, and with classmates Shimura and Kato's help, Oda concludes Tanaka is in love, as teenage behavior could only change so drastically due to love. However, it soon becomes clear to Oda that Tanaka's odd behavior is actually his apathetic reaction to a cavity never checked due to the laziness of going to the dentist. As usual, for his friend's sake, Oda takes him to the dentist. When Tanaka devises a plan to avoid future cavities just to skip the dentist effort, Oda decides to fully support Tanaka's apathetic life. In the distance, hidden, a girl has watched the entire situation, falling completely in love with one of the boys, unable to take her eyes off Oda carrying the lazy Tanaka. Oda spots Tanaka at a shrine early in the morning, intrigued by his unusual enthusiasm, given his typical apathy. Tanaka explains he's praying for peace, otherwise, he'll spread rumors about the local deity, adding bribery and blackmail to his apathetic philosophy. Oda asks what peace means to Tanaka and what could disrupt his daily peace, considering he's the laziest person on the planet. Tanaka mentions avoiding any chosen one scenarios or similar situations, which Oda finds amusing. However, as they walk through the school corridors, Tanaka is approached by their young classmate Mayano, who had observed him the day before. Admiring his apathetic lifestyle, she wishes to become his apprentice, much to Tanaka's dismay since praying didn't help him avoid this. Tanaka firmly declines twice, but Mayano persists. Eventually, Tanaka agrees to be her sensei, deciding it's less effort than constantly rejecting her. He clarifies he won't actively teach her anything, but she can observe him to learn how to be lazy. Excited, Mayano accepts, yet her excitable nature makes her unsuitable for apathy, failing repeatedly. Trying to appear sleepy makes her seem angry, attempting to speak less to conserve energy fails as she gets too excited and talks too much. At one point, she tries drinking green tea, like Tanaka, to appear adult but feels sad seeing Oda drink a strawberry shake, realizing she can never be the apathetic adult she aspires to be and leaves, disappointed. She attempts to study apathy academically and presents Tanaka with a book she wrote on being lazy, but Tanaka points out her hard work shows she's unsuited for apathy. Mayano confesses she wanted to be apathetic because she's in love with someone taller, thinking apathy would make her seem mature and serious. She was trying to balance her extroverted, energetic personality to appear older. However, Tanaka advises her to be herself, as someone who likes her should appreciate her true personality, even at the risk of heartbreak. Days later, Mayano seems to master apathy instantly, impressing Tanaka, who considers passing her the title of Master of Apathy. They suspect her sudden apathy might be due to heartbreak. Curious, Tanaka joins Oda to observe Mayano's personality shifts. She shows disinterest in her once favorite strawberry shake and responds incoherently to a teacher's questions, making them wonder if she's reached a new level of apathy. By day's end, she abruptly returns to normal, revealing she was worried about mascot costumes taking over the world, sinking her into her own world of concern, disappointing Tanaka. Realizing how close she was to perfect apathy, she decides to find another worry. Tanaka revisits the shrine, threatening to report the local deity to a higher-ranking god. The next day, he finds a duel challenge in his locker, disrupting his peace once again. At lunchtime, Oda takes on the task of fetching food for Tanaka, who's too lazy to queue up for it himself. Noticing Tanaka's minimal appetite, Oda inquires if he dislikes any of the dishes. Tanaka admits he likes most foods but won't eat anything that requires effort, hence his aversion to fish with bones and legumes hard to pick up with chopsticks, essentially ruling out most of the day's lunch items. Oda decides not to intervene but ends up helping Tanaka with his meal to make it as effortless as eating pre-chewed food, much like a mother bird does for her chick. This leads to Tanaka overeating, feeling too full since the meal required no effort on his part. As they walk, Tanaka faints, marking the first time he's eaten so much that it causes an energy spike, quickly followed by a prolonged nap. Later, rested, Tanaka is asked by Oda about the duel challenge found in his locker. Tanaka pretends ignorance to avoid confrontation. However, their plan fails when Ekizan, Oda's childhood friend who issued the challenge, confronts Tanaka for ignoring her duel summons. Tanaka refuses to duel, arguing his lethargy means certain loss, so competing is pointless. Ekizan forces a game of Othello on him, and Oda notes Tanaka's apathy tends to deflate adversaries' combative spirit, yet they settle on board games as they're less energy-intensive. Ekizan wins, but is irked by Tanaka spelling out Blanco with his pieces, hinting at his potential ease of victory if he wished, indicating his intelligence and capability despite his laziness. Ekizan demands to know why her best friend, Mayano, is so fixated on such an apathetic person. Mayano's arrival reveals Ekizan's true nature, loving cute, tiny things, showing she's not as tough as she seems. Mayano's respect for Tanaka makes Ekizan more determined to challenge him, disturbing his peace. Later, a dispute between the two friends requires Tanaka's mediation. He learns Mayano is upset because Ekizan refused to eat her rabbit-shaped cookies, deeming them too cute, leading them to mold. Tanaka sees Ekizan's perspective, but Oda, hearing Mayano's side, believes her anger over the wasted sweets is justified. Tanaka advises Ekizan to write an apology, which inadvertently seems like another duel challenge, reigniting Mayano's anger just as she was about to forgive. By day's end, Tanaka tells Ekizan that Mayano's maturity attempts stem from her crush on someone she perceives as more mature, wanting to align her personality with someone she admires. Ekizan feels saddened, thinking their friendship lacked openness, leading her to doubt their closeness. Mayano, having overheard, reveals she's in love with Ekizan, upset about the uneaten homemade cookies meant for them. They reconcile, and Mayano begins making less cute sweets for Ekizan to eat. Tanaka looks forward to a peaceful future. Tanaka and Oda are running late for class, leading Oda to carry his friend and dash at full speed. In their haste, they accidentally collide with their classmate and popular class representative, Shiraishi. The boys in the class, enamored with her, rally to defend Shiraishi from what they perceive as an attack. However, Shiraishi, ever so gracious, calms the situation, preventing any trouble. Noticing the papers Shiraishi was carrying got ruined in the fall, Tanaka and Oda, feeling guilty, offer to help reprint the documents. Despite Shiraishi's objections, she allows it upon seeing Tanaka's guilt. As they head to the copy room, their schoolmate stares make Oda feel he's gaining popularity by association, while Tanaka tries to remain as inconspicuous as possible under his coat. Together, they spend a significant time reprinting documents, with Tanaka finding the warm pages from the copier an ideal pillow. Despite this, he lazily ensures the task is completed. Afterward, Shiraishi treats them to homemade macarons, which everyone praises for their exquisite taste. Oda can't help but admire Shiraishi's perfection in every area. Post macarons, Tanaka's sleepiness kicks in, leading to him nearly dozing off. Noticing his fatigue and with Shiraishi insisting there's little work left, Oda takes Tanaka for a nap. Alone, Shiraishi relaxes, changing into casual clothes, swapping contacts for glasses, and tying her hair back. She reflects on her class representative persona, crafted for popularity despite feeling uncomfortable all day. In high school, being overlooked and socially unsuccessful, she meticulously studied how to be perfect in others' eyes, transforming into the beloved Shiraishi. When Tanaka and Oda unexpectedly return and see her true self, they leave without a word, leaving Shiraishi panicking. The next day, fearing her secret is out, she's relieved to be treated the same by everyone, realizing her secret is safe. Nevertheless, she shadows the boys to ensure her secret remains safe, only to be touched by Oda's praise. Eavesdropping on Oda's lunchtime conversation, she discovers he didn't recognize her due to her drastic makeover, while Tanaka was asleep and thus oblivious. Realizing her true self is drastically different from her popular image, she decides to embrace her real appearance as camouflage, walking unnoticed by classmates. However, Tanaka recognizes her, and Oda catches on. In private, she confesses her act, embarrassed, but is surprised by Tanaka's respect for her effort versus his apathy, supported by Oda's cheer. Shiraishi starts wearing glasses publicly, still receiving the same admiration, now with concerns for her eye health. She wonders how Tanaka recognized her despite his usual inattentiveness, feeling drawn to him. Tanaka reveals to Oda he recognized Shiraishi even in her relaxed state by her chest. Tanaka forgets the item his sister asked him to buy, so he asks his friend Oda to accompany him on the shopping trip. Along the way, they realize both have younger sisters of the same age. Tanaka mentions his family closely resembles him in appearance, prompting Oda to worry if Tanaka's parents are as lethargic, concerning their ability to feed him and clean the house. Tanaka reassures him, stating his sister is quite diligent with household chores, contrary to him. At the supermarket, Tanaka can't recall what he was supposed to buy, hoping he'd remember as they walk around. They spend considerable time guessing but come up empty. Assuming Tanaka's sister knows his unreliability, they try deducing the item to no avail. Then, an alarm Tanaka set goes off, reminding him of the purchase. However, due to his laziness, the message is incomplete, revealing only that the item starts with P. Deciding against further effort, Tanaka opts to buy every P item he can find. Their supermarket journey highlights Oda's domestic knowledge and savvy shopping, attracting the attention of potential mothers-in-law. Upon leaving, Oda concludes Tanaka's sister likely wanted limited edition pancakes, and they each take a pack home. The next day, Tanaka reeks, revealing his sister actually wanted pipe cleaner for the shower. Angered by his pancake purchase, she fed him foul-smelling food. Meanwhile, Shiraishi, feeling more relaxed, finds herself drawn to Tanaka, the only person to have seen her true self. After much deliberation, she wonders if she's in love with him and discusses it with her friends, who believe her newfound ease is due to love, fully supporting her intent to approach Tanaka. However, having never been in love or adept at talking to boys, Shiraishi struggles to find an excuse to talk to Tanaka without seeming odd. Noticing Tanaka's close friendship with Oda, she seeks his advice, only to learn Tanaka has never shown interest in girls, considering love too much effort. Realizing Shiraishi's affection for Tanaka, Oda secretly wishes her luck. Shiraishi plans to befriend Tanaka before confessing, but feeling overshadowed by his friendship with Mayano, she loses confidence and withdraws. Mayano, noticing Shiraishi's plight, drags her to Tanaka, suggesting Shiraishi wants to be his apprentice. Instead, Shiraishi asks to be friends. Tanaka, surprised, thought they already were friends, affirming the friendship. They exchange emails with Mayano, who now becomes her friend too. Shortly after, Shiraishi receives an email from Mayano, secretly supporting her love for Tanaka. Despite the heavy rain drenching the city, Tanaka doesn't use his umbrella, finding it too much effort. Instead, he gets soaked trying to evolve immunity to rain or dodge raindrops like a ninja. Shiraishi, seeing the rain, clichédly wishes to share an umbrella with her crush, then spots a completely drenched Tanaka, initially thinking she's imagining him until she realizes he's real. Heading to the classroom to find Tanaka and learning he avoids the umbrella out of laziness, she convinces him that enduring a cold is more troublesome, prompting Tanaka to decide on using one. However, when he goes to retrieve his umbrella, he finds it's been mistakenly taken by someone else. Shiraishi offers to share hers, but when Oda leaves them, her nervousness increases the distance between them, mistakenly thinking Tanaka would feel rejected, while he only wants to get closer to avoid getting his shoulder wet. The next day, Tanaka's resolve to use an umbrella has vanished, leading him to get soaked and catch a cold. Unable to speak due to coughing and sore throat, Tanaka and Oda resort to alternative communication methods. First, they try lip reading, but Tanaka's mask for illness prevention hinders it. Then, they switch to a notepad, which works well until Tanaka suggests Ekizan change her name to something easier to write, leading her to mistakenly believe he's proposing to her or Oda. Realizing written communication causes more confusion than it solves, Tanaka resumes speaking normally, finding it least energy-consuming. The following day, Tanaka has recovered from the cold and removes his mask. Oda notices him more animated than usual, with Tanaka explaining that making facial expressions while masked seem to have developed his facial muscles. However, feeling uncomfortable, he decides to wear the mask again until he returns to his usual demeanor. Due to the previous day's misunderstanding, Ekizan believes both Tanaka and Oda want to marry her. Trying to discuss this, but mistaking her approach for wanting a thumb war, Tanaka grabs her hand, causing Ekizan to blush and flee. Throughout the day, she weighs the pros and cons of both, leaning towards Tanaka's surname but feeling attracted to Oda's ability to carry her like a princess after she twists her ankle, leading to panic and a clumsy drop. Concerned about her odd behavior, Tanaka and Oda inquire about her day's oddness. Ekizan references Tanaka's previous notepad communication, misunderstanding his name change request as offensive due to her attachment to her surname, prompting his apology. Ekizan realizes the entire ordeal was a misunderstanding, infuriated by the confusion Tanaka's laziness caused. However, she's embarrassed again when they decide to call her Ekin for ease, both in speech and writing. Tanaka arrives in class, his usual lethargic self, and upon opening his bag, discovers he's received anonymous Valentine's Day chocolates. Contrary to what one might think, this depresses him since it means he must put effort into giving a return gift on White Day. Oda is saddened he received nothing until Tanaka finds another box of chocolates in his bag, this time for Oda. Oda's slightly dismayed to receive cheap, bitter dark chocolate but then realizes it's better than nothing and can be seen as friendship rather than romantic chocolates. However, Tanaka's chocolates come with a note saying "I'm watching you all the time," made from magazine cutouts, leading Tanaka to think it's from someone shy, while Oda fears it might be a threat, though he keeps these thoughts from Tanaka. Considering someone watching all the time, Oda suspects Miyano but rules her out when she gives chocolates to Ekizan and admits forgetting Tanaka and Oda's, focusing only on her. Oda asks if Tanaka ever considered having a girlfriend. Tanaka admits to having typical teenage fantasies but finds the effort to pursue them too daunting. Tasting the high-quality homemade chocolates, Oda suspects Shiraishi made them, but hearing her talk to friends, they learn she forgot Valentine's Day, used to being single. On their way home, they find a sinister recording device in Tanaka's bag before confronting his sister, Rhino. She admits the device is hers for study purposes but mistakenly placed it in Tanaka's bag. Rhino, as serious as Tanaka but more industrious despite being younger, invites Oda home, expressing it's the first time one of Tanaka's friends visits. Oda senses she worries about Tanaka's antisocial tendencies and reassures her of their close friendship. Initially, the visit goes well, but Rhino becomes hostile upon learning of their friendship and Oda eating Tanaka's chocolate. Furious, believing herself to be Tanaka's best friend, she won't allow Oda to take her brother away. Hence, she gave Oda bitter chocolate, knowing his preference for sweet, and invited him over to assess their relationship. However, unable to maintain her facade after hearing Oda boast about their good relationship, she kicks him out. Meanwhile, Tanaka naively believes Rhino was being kind to Oda for being his friend. Rhino is enraged because her device only records Oda, with Tanaka's voice too soft to capture. With Oda absent from class, Tanaka finds himself helpless, reliant on his friend for guidance. Conversing with classmates, they speculate Oda might be ill. Tasked with delivering copies to Oda, Tanaka enlists Ekizun's help since she lives next to Oda. Annoyed at Tanaka's reluctance to care for his caretaker, Ekizun coerces him to make the delivery himself. However, unfamiliar with Oda's address due to habitually sleeping while being carried by Oda, Tanaka asks Ekizun to lead the way. Along their journey, Ekizun interacts with various locals, revealing her well-liked status in the neighborhood due to her repeated help, despite her tough persona. At Oda's house, Tanaka's delivery moves Oda, who never expected Tanaka to make the effort. Oda reveals his absence was due to an accident, prompting Tanaka to leave promptly after fulfilling his duty. Upon Oda's return to school with a sprained ankle, Tanaka attempts to care for him. His efforts mainly serve as a slow-moving support and mistakenly eating Oda's sweet lunch, leaving only a sandwich. Despite Tanaka's inadequacy, Oda appreciates the attempt. Ekizun offers Oda her leftover sweets, panicking when Mayano nearly exposes her special purchase for Oda, knowing his sweet tooth. Tanaka's extra effort to assist, and self-rely as Oda can't carry him everywhere, leads him to rush through work for more sleep, resulting in numerous errors. During a fire drill, Tanaka, used to being carried by Oda, gets lost trying to exit, causing concern until he eventually rejoins his classmates. For Tanaka's safety, Oda vows never to get injured again. Reflecting on his inability to help and his dependency on Oda, Tanaka establishes Oda Appreciation Day. As a gift, he presents Oda a coupon book for making Tanaka act independently. The first coupon, used immediately, mandates Tanaka walk by himself instead of being carried. Yet, Tanaka's extreme lethargy and slow pace force Oda to carry him to avoid lateness, illustrating that despite Tanaka's good intentions, the coupons are nullified by his astonishing inefficacy. Tanaka hesitates to visit W.C. Donald's with Oda, fearing the fast food chain expects speed from him too, until he learns they're offering robot vacuums as gifts. Eager, he goes to buy a combo with the vacuum but finds they're all out, which depresses him greatly, so he settles for a milkshake instead. The waitress, sensing a dark vibe from Tanaka, though it's just his laziness, delivers his frozen shake to the table, prompting Tanaka to exert extra effort to sip it, giving him a peculiar look. Meanwhile, intimidated by Tanaka's apathetic gaze and Oda's naturally menacing aura, the waitress fears they're upset over the unavailable vacuum combo. Panicked, she asks a coworker to secure a vacuum, believing it a matter of life and death, but fails. Upon leaving W.C. Donald, the boys kindly thank her, commending her hard work, surprising her as she expected a confrontation. The next day, they return, but Oda steps out to retrieve his forgotten phone, leaving Tanaka with the fries. Tanaka is spotted by his sister Rhino and her nervous, shy friend Saya. Rhino is thrilled for some public sibling time without Oda, rare for them, calling it a brother-sister date. Saya mentions having an older, more intimidating brother than Tanaka but prefers Tanaka's dark prince charm. When Rhino leaves to get drinks, leaving Tanaka and Saya alone, Saya's nerves spike. Tanaka inquires how gorilla-like her brother is on a scale of 1 to 5. He then expresses concern about his inability to protect Rhino due to his frailty, unlike Saya's gorilla-like brother. Tanaka feels guilty for always being cared for by Rhino. Saya reassures him, mentioning Rhino often talks about him at school, indicating her deep affection, which comforts Tanaka, resolving to continue his lazy ways without overexertion. The waitress grows more intimidated, mistaking Rhino for Tanaka in disguise. When Oda returns, it's revealed he's Saya's brother, unbeknownst to Tanaka, Rhino, or Oda. Saya marvels at the coincidence of being friends with both siblings, while Rhino bristles at Oda's return. After everyone heads home, Oda notes Saya's unusual happiness, while Tanaka, full from W.C. Donald's, opts out of dinner with Rhino, who had prepared a special meal. Rhino, upset, blames Oda for Tanaka's absence, missing a chance for a solo dinner with her brother. Tanaka suggests visiting a pool, despite not knowing how to swim and needing to use a floatai. Two boys start mocking him for his inability to swim, but Tanaka remains unfazed and relaxes on his floatai. However, Oda intervenes, his size intimidating the kids into promising they won't bother Tanaka again. Accidentally, they pop Tanaka's floatai, Fearing Oda's retaliation, they apologize profusely. Tanaka reassures them Oda is too kind to harm them and floaties popping is common, so there's no issue. Opting to wade in the water instead, Tanaka's laziness stops him from making an effort, leading him to start floating. The W.C. Donald's waitress, also a lifeguard, is too nervous to intervene. The boys and Oda are amazed by Tanaka's effortless floating and ask him to teach them. They too manage to float perfectly by relaxing completely. By day's end, the kids dub Tanaka master and thank him for teaching them the perfect float technique. The next day, they meet again, with the boys revealing that effortless floating has become a trend at their school. Mayano asks Tanaka for help to grow 10 centimeters in 5 days. When Tanaka says it's impossible, Mayano is deeply saddened. She shares that Ekizan has invited her to a fireworks festival, but she feels like a child in a yukata. Tanaka suggests staying in and watching fireworks on TV, but Oda proposes finding a yukata that makes her look mature despite her height. Excited, Mayano invites her friends to shop with her, but to avoid being alone with two guys, Shiraishi also joins. During the shopping trip, Shiraishi reveals she never wore a yukata due to being antisocial, watching fireworks on TV instead. Mayano notes Shiraishi's similarity to Tanaka, thrilling her. Later, Mayano invites everyone to watch the fireworks together. Shiraishi has other invitations, so she can't join, but the men, having no excuse, accept. They too must find outfits. Shiraishi tries on a yukata, blushing when Tanaka compliments her. Unable to find a suitable yukata, Shiraishi sews one for Mayano, which she loves. At the festival, Ekizan is surprised to see Oda and Tanaka but concedes Mayano looks so cute she can't say no to them joining. Recalling childhood fireworks outings in matching yukatas sewn by their mother, Ekizan blushes at Oda's compliment on her yukata. Attempting to return the compliment, she's ignored as he's distracted by food stalls, leading her to dump shaved ice on his head. Tanaka's class is chosen to create the haunted house for the cultural festival, Tanaka's least favorite event due to the effort required. In fact, he spent the last 2 weeks training to hide his presence so no one would remember him and assign him a task. Despite his effort to avoid effort, Tanaka and Oda are chosen to play ghosts. Oda is quickly dismissed for his poor acting skills, but everyone encourages Tanaka since his attempt to hide makes his body seem to disappear, convincing them he's a real ghost. However, unable to replicate his disappearing act on cue in the haunted house, Tanaka's ghost performance is a disaster. Mayano, knowing her master well, devises a way to make him appear terrifying while seated. Using lights, a theater costume, and paper walls, they create a terrifying ghost that doesn't even require Tanaka to keep his eyes open. Shiraishi provides the costumes but is embarrassed when Tanaka exposes his underwear while changing, although he remains oblivious. With the haunted house complete, they prepare to welcome guests, realizing the decor looks so real it will scare everyone. Oda also notices and admits he can't perform his role since he's terrified of ghosts and didn't expect the haunted house to be so scary. Mayano tries to replace him, but her performance is more cute than frightening. Tanaka becomes the most terrifying ghost despite being asleep. During a break, Tanaka seeks a place to sleep but stumbles upon an irritated Ekizan working in a cafe. He wanders aimlessly and disappears, forcing a classmate to replace him as the ghost. Worried despite having a replacement, Oda searches for Tanaka, who's hiding in a cardboard box, the only safe place he found not surrounded by scares. When Oda finds him in a dark stairwell inside a cardboard box and wearing his ghost costume, he's frightened, thinking Tanaka is a real ghost, and faints. Tanaka decides to watch over Oda until he wakes but falls asleep again, believing only 10 minutes have passed. Later, their classmates wake them, reporting the festival has ended and the haunted house was a success. The friends apologize, but their classmates assure them they saw them working hard that morning, referring only to Oda's efforts. The next day, rumors spread of a real ghost seen wandering the school, frightening Oda so much he buys salt to purify the building. On seat change day, Tanaka faces separation from Oda, resorting to magical techniques and horoscope beliefs for a favorable outcome. His despair peaks when moved to the front row, only to switch seats with Mayano, who can't see behind Oda, allowing Tanaka to sleep behind his friend. This positions him next to Shiraishi, who's eager to connect with Tanaka after days of silence, but her attempts are thwarted by Tanaka's sleepiness or Oda's interruptions. In the following days, Shiraishi tries supporting Tanaka, but Oda consistently anticipates Tanaka's needs, providing tissues, class notes, etc., denying Shiraishi natural interaction opportunities. Tanaka tells Shiraishi unnecessary to care for him as he prefers solitude, leaving her disheartened. Overhearing her lament about never achieving her goal, Tanaka, unaware of the context, lazily advises against rushing effort. Despite the nonsensical advice, Shiraishi takes it as a cue for patience, valuing their conversation. Later, classmates mistake Shiraishi in her casual outfit for Tanaka's secret girlfriend, not recognizing their classmate. Tanaka faces annoying inquiries, culminating in his outburst. A guilty Shiraishi tries explaining but is stopped by Miyano, mistakenly thinking Shiraishi is heartbroken over Tanaka's girlfriend. Oda asks Ekizan to replace Tanaka, misinterpreted as a confession, earning him a punch. Walking home alone, Tanaka misses the usual distractions avoided with friends. Oda clarifies to classmates that Shiraishi is a mutual friend, not Tanaka's girlfriend. The next day, apologies are exchanged, and Shiraishi thanks Oda for defending Tanaka. However, she's saddened by Tanaka's conclusion that girlfriends are too dramatic, yet remains patient. And thus ends the anime that stirred many emotions. If you enjoyed this series, let me know in the comments. As always, it's never too late to subscribe to my channel and join this wonderful community. Until next time.